guys should just remember we're starting with our faces up there. So welcome guys to SARCO Racing. We are currently live, brought to you proudly by Thrustmaster. This is round number 1 of our vintage touring car series, and with me in the commentary box once again I have Ashley. Ashley, how are you this evening? So a very interesting format that we have this evening. The guys are in the lobby. They have all the thumbs up. So they're just waiting for that driver's briefing. But essentially, we have our top can't hear Ashley. Oh, my goodness. Stand by. There we go. A different format for this evening where we are taking the BMW up against the Ford. Our top 5 competitors who qualified will all be driving in the Ford this evening to be giving them a slight handicap, so to say. And looking at some of the times that we've seen, the Ford is probably about just under a second slower around this track, which is definitely going to be mixing it up. So let's jump straight into the lobby, give the drivers a briefing, and we can get on to our 5-minute qualifying. So to the guys in the lobby, welcome. Round number 1. Just remember the qualifying is 5 minutes followed by a 20-minute race. Don't forget, after that we will be doing a rolling start. And Ashley, once again, another little twist is the top 6 will be starting with a reverse grid.
Yes, Dylan, I'm looking forward to that. I'm just jumping into the lobby just to let Tyler know that he can continue. I think they're just waiting for one guy. Okay, there, excellent. Thank you, Tyler.
So unfortunately we do see that Flat Rabbit keeps disconnecting out of the lobby. We did have a few little clashing moments between himself and myself just before we were going, but it looks like that he might be having some connectivity issues there. Brandon, he's jumped on the stream saying, how's it guys? Round number 1, here we go. Brandon, he will be starting in the Alpha tier this evening. Really looking forward to seeing him racing out there. And Daniel of the War Machine, he's on the stream once again. We had some fun with him on the Saturday evening. We invited Daniel to come and join us for a bit of 5x5 action, and we had a bit of an open lobby, so lots of interesting racing happened there.
Yes, Brandon was, as you know, one of the top drivers from our previous league, and he's automatically been promoted to the Alpha tier, so we won't see him in the Bravo tier this evening. So, yeah, yeah, good luck to him. Hope he can show his true colors there with the Foster guys.
So just some of the drivers for this evening who will be in the Ford. It will be Colin, so Ninko 70, Ryan, that his PSN is Sarge 793. We've got Dane, who's NGC of 4565. Johan VDV, he will be in the Ford, as well as Tyler Scott. And then a newcomer, Reeve. We've seen him on our live stream on the Facebook page. He's decided that he'd rather be driving with us. So a creeping 799 Apple, and that is Reeve. He's decided, no, he's done his practice in the Ford Escort. He will be joining in the Escort.
Just looking at that Ford Escort, it is a very low car, and you can actually almost see like the exhaust scraping the bottom. I think that's what gives it its advantage, is sort of low sort of center of gravity. So it doesn't quite have the legs on the straights, and it's missing that extra gear, but I think it's got a little bit more handling in the corners.
100%. And where we're going to see that the Ford will start taking advantage of the BMWs, is specifically going to the chicane there. But Sarge not demonstrating what I was hoping to fulfill there.
Well, his tyres will still be cold, so he still needs to warm up this, and he's probably just pushing it a little bit too hard, trying to get track position, and I think he's overcooked it a bit there. But you really can see one of the drivers just ahead of him. He looks like he's really gone off, and he's got a slight bit of damage on the front of the car. And that's, it was a Dane? Sorry, I'm just trying to get it. It was Rolf. I'm just looking at his car, so I wonder where he got that damage from, or if it's just a glitch. Dylan, are you seeing that on your side?
Yep, so I do see that it looks like Wolf has put that through something. Not just once, but twice. But I'm sure that he won't be driving with that damage, so maybe he did go off, collected another car. And sometimes when you go into the pits and get your damage fixed, it doesn't always correct that for you.
I almost say, because they've got such a little time, I mean, you must remember this is only a 5-minute qualifying, so that only is enough to get you sort of 2 laps. So I'm thinking he's probably just hoping to get one good lap in here, and even if he starts sort of mid-pack, at least he's got a bit of advantage to somebody who doesn't qualify at all.
So Johan VDV in shots, you can see him in the Ford, and I know that a lot of guys are saying that the Ford is just so underpowered, but what we know is going to happen is it's going to be a mixing up the field, and we're going to get very, very interesting racing happening, and not only here in the Bravo tier, but also in the Alpha tier later on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a David versus Goliath. In terms of the power with these cars, but like you mentioned, it's gonna shift things around a bit and create some interesting racing. What we did find in the previous events, that the top guys to pull away from the rest of the field, and what we want to do is just bunch them up a bit and make for exciting racing for the viewers.
So I must say there hasn't been much resistance when we pitched the idea, and it was actually part of the brainchild from Jake's. He said, why don't we bring in the Ford as a handicap type car, and when we threw that out into some of the drivers, they thought that would be a great idea, and that was what we did.
So I think it's, like I said, it's going to mix things up a bit. I'm just looking at some of these cars. Man, oh man, these are some beautiful looking machineries. It's just a classic car of its time, both the Ford and the BMW. And I think it's going to bring them back memories for a lot of guys who used to watch this, maybe a little bit before my time. But it's always good to see the old classic cars on the track. It's always draws in the crowds. Part of the lost generation, should I say.
Without a doubt. So just having a look, so Janeman, he's joined us on the stream. How's it, Janeman? Leon Pretorius, he's saying good luck guys, make it an interesting one please. He's good luck. So going out to Christo. So that's booked down in 12th place. But I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Look at the top of the list there. That is Terry Wilford up in pole position, coming to the end of this qualifying. That's not something we'd see. Oh, as I say that, there goes Peter Brunt. He'll cross the line and Terry takes it back.
Terry takes it again.
So Terry puts himself on pole position. Absolutely amazing.
That is a fantastic lap there, and he had a bit of traffic there, so they would have slowed him down a little bit. He was a bit compromised by, it was Rolf in front of him, who had a bit of damage, and he still managed to get this up. But there was still a couple of guys on the track. Let's see if anyone of them can improve their time, or beat his time, should I say. Nope. It looks like we have Terry on pole for the first time in the SARCO championship or leagues that we've run. And let's just remember, this is only his second lead. So he has come a long way in the SARCO racing. And to put on a pole, that's a job well done.
So I wonder if this is going to be just a taste of things to come, because Terry, Peter, Andrew, Marius, that's Racing Wolf, Dane, are all in BMWs. Then Tyler is essentially the fastest person in the Ford. And there you have it. Oh, so apologies, Dane. Dane is the fastest in the Ford, followed by Tyler Scott. So we're just waiting for the syncing to be completed, and we will then be racing. And we have told the guys to please be careful into the first couple of corners. We know going down the hill, it does get a little bit tricky, specifically once you start going down towards the old hairpin. I must say I had a good couple of spin outs in my little practice there. And in the Alpha tier, I did manage to get myself down into the 142s. Ashley, how are your times looking?
I'd rather not comment on my times right now, Dylan. I did some laps just before I came into this lobby, and I think my best was a 143. It is lights
under wheel. Oh, great start there from one of the Fords in the background there.
It was Johan VDV.
That was Johan VDV, so he's got himself up into 5th place, but now we start getting into the tricky section, but everyone seems to be just slotting it. No!
Oh no!
That's a car on its roof. But Terry Wilford, he leads as they come down the hill. We'll start going into the old hairpin. And Terry Wilford is away with Andrew Brogioni in 2nd place, with Peter Brunt in 3rd. A little bit of a glitch there, a little bit of lag, but we're all back to racing. Sarge, he's in 5th place. Sarge driving in the Ford. He chases up. Oh, we see a little spin out in the background there, probably just a touch of the curb.
There's Johan in the background doing some donuts again. So he's not having a very good first lap. I think that was... Let me just go back down to the field. I think that was Christo.
So if you look at the timesheets, oh, that's Marius. He's on his roof. Little touch between Johan, and I can't remember who was in the dark livery, that dark blue BMW, but that little contact there, unfortunately, pushed Marius onto the side. So that will be him out of this race.
You won't be able to call for any marshals to push him back onto his wheels, unfortunately. So he'll be stuck there for, I think, for the rest of the race, unless he exits out the lobby. So that's a real shame for him, because he had a pretty good start.
Oh, that was Rolf, currently in 4th place. So there was a little bit of contact between Rolf and Johan VDB. So I actually wonder if Wolf helped Morris there. We see Morris is back on racing again, so Wolf might have just given him a little touch just to get him over again. But we have all guys driving once again.
Absolutely right. So he just called in for a favour from Rolf there, and he's back on. Morris is back on his wheels again. So he's obviously owes Morris a favour, or Morris now owes Rolf a favour. Probably going to have to get him a couple of beers at the pub to thank him for that.
Well, the question I want to know. Oh, Johan really struggling. That was going into the old hairpin, and boy oh man, did I struggle. I struggled down there, honestly. And because what happens in these older cars is as you start just turning left, there's that little dip and the rear just lets go. You come off the power, and by coming off the power, all you're doing is you're just accentuating exactly that loss of control. The car goes the other way, the next thing it just snaps back, and that unfortunately is you going down the old hairpin sideways.
So I was going to shoot back to the front here, and there's still a good battle going on here between
that's Peter Brandt,
Peter Brandt, sorry. Thank you, Dylan. Sorry, just slipped my mind there. And it looks like Peter Brandt is closing in on Terry, and so this is a start of a good battle between the two. And these guys, I'm sure, isn't Peter Brandt a tar racer? I mean, a track racer?
Yes. So he does race with Morris from the guys at the BRM Racing. So that is Budget Racing in Midvale. They do have a Facebook page. If you guys want to go and check them out, you are more than welcome to do that. But Peter Brandt really getting on the back of Terry. We can see the previous laps, 0.7 of a second. Peter is going quicker than Terry. Andrew just dropping a little bit further back at the moment. But I'm sure it's just about settling those nerves, and we'll get him closer. But look at that now. Actually, fourth place is Sarge in a Ford, with Colin in a Ford, Tyler's in the Ford, Dane in the Ford, and then a Racing Rolf. I wonder if you can go for team orders and say, please knock over your teammate.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But yes, the BMWs seem to have the upper hand on this racetrack, and I assume it's because of the longer straights. It's a very long back straight here, followed by a short little chicane, and then another little long section. So I think that's where the Fords are losing the battle to the BMWs. And I'm actually enjoying this because I'm going to be starting in the BMW, and I know the guys in front of me are probably going to be struggling in the Ford. So this might help to my favor later this evening.
You got to remember, the guys that you're talking about struggling in the Ford, you're talking about the likes of Jakes, Christopher, Marius, and then our two Bravo winners, Andrew Horn and then Brandon.
Okay, so I'll at least have a little bit of advantage. That's what I'm saying.
For me, please.
Well, I'm not struggling, but I will have a little bit of advantage, a straight line advantage, I reckon, and that's definitely going to play to my benefit. That's all I'm saying.
All right, 100%. Thank you for clearing that up. But we can see Terry now drop down to second place, and it seems every time you change the camera, actually the camera just has like a little bit of a flicker, and then it catches up. I don't know if you've seen that as well.
No, not at all. It seems all far on my side, so there must be just a delay on the broadcasting side. But what I'll do is I'll keep to this battle for a while, just so the viewers can not at all see what's going on.
So just checking in on the Facebook page, no comments there just yet. So guys, if you are on the stream, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the racing that's happening so far. A little message coming up from Daniel saying that Johan is slowly but surely moving up the ladder, and quite rightly, there he is currently in 9th position, so he is moving up after a couple of spins earlier on.
Yeah, he had a terrible first couple of laps. I'm hoping he's got the hang of that car and there's not too much damage. but his times are pretty low at the moment. He's doing a mid 149.
Oh, that was very close. You can see how that car just wanted to jump off the curb, but Peter Brunt able to just ride it off there. But Terry not letting him get away. This is absolutely fantastic to see. Specifically with Andrew Brogioni a little bit further behind, starting to lose just a little bit of pace off these guys. They're not quite losing him yet, but that gap is definitely extending a couple of hundredths every lap.
Well, his time on that last lap was 2/10 slower than Peter B in front, so I wonder if he's just holding back, maybe waiting for some action between these guys. And well, it's still 12 minutes left on the clock, so it could be anyone's race at this point, at this stage.
So a message has come from Donovan. So Donovan does race with us, and he's saying, "Who's on Terry's rig?"
No, I was actually following Terry during practice, and he was pretty quick. So I'm quite convinced that it is him.
Was it him in his headset when you were talking to him?
Definitely. It was definitely him. So that's Terry showing his.
So we are giving the full credit to this person who's driving under TER 271277. Oh, great catch there. See the rear just stepping out, and was able to catch that. So great driving there, Terry. We all believe that it is you. So keep going.
I just want to jump down here to 7th position just to see what happened. This battle between Dane and Tyler in the two Fords. So we have Fords from Sarge in 4th position. Yes, and he looks like he's been chased down there by Colin.
So if you just have a look at the timestamp there, you can see that is 3 seconds. So the person behind him is Marius. If you have a look, there is no bonnet on that car. So Marius is a lap down. So I don't think Marius will be pushing Sarge too hard.
That's right. That's right.
They're not fighting for position here. But I'm sure that Sarge might just let him go if he is the faster of the two.
Sorry, I don't know. I've just been watching the times. Whoa! Terry outbrakes himself there. Just a little bit goes wide.
That's going to bring Andrew to the picture now. And I'm sure Andrew is saying that's the mistake that he needed. See Andrew now moving to the inside. So he should be able to beat Terry on the brakes. Coming into the second last corner, side by side. Terry now on the wider. That's going to give him a much better drive coming out. But now as they go into the braking zone here into turn number 12, Terry will be on the inside. Oh, Andrew will lock that up. So he will now be on the outside. Terry just holding that line, allowing Andrew enough space on the outside there. So now I
think Andrew got a bit of fright there, and maybe was a bit too cautious because you almost gave that position away. But Terry's looking very, very race. Oh, goes a bit wide there onto the grass. Bit of farming there, but he managed to recover well. But that's going to allow for Andrew to get in his slipstream down this tricky section down the hill. Oh no!
What are we looking at?
What's just happened there?
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Terry lost the rear and it just flipped the car over. That is incredible.
Well, he's still in 3rd position. There's still a gap between him and Sarge, so there's still a podium up for grabs here. But that was very unfortunate. He was just maybe pushing a little bit too hard and caught the curve there. I can only imagine that he lost the rear by touching the curb, and that's put him to a bit of a spin and a roll.
So I know that when I was doing my practice and I went down there and I thought that I might roll it over, but obviously just the way the angle of the car was, and the next thing the rear tires probably just gripped and flipped him over. But
I mean, that's not the first roll this evening. That's actually our second one. Is it? Who was that on the grass there?
that was Tyler Scott. Some close action happening there. You see on the brakes, Tyler Scott has got somebody on his inside, trying to go too wide through the chicane. That is very brave there by Colin. And just behind Colin is Dane, and just behind him is who's that?
Rolf.
That's Rolf, yeah. Whoa. Great move there by Colin, moving to the inside. And now they're going to possibly be 3 wide going into turn number 12.
So we have the battle of the forwards here. Oh, we're getting very, very... Oh, no, guys. That's unfortunate.
So
Tyler's not going to be too happy with that.
So that is Racing Wolf now going around the outside. A little cone is being sent skywards with Dane just about being squeezed out going into turn number 2. But now they'll come down Craner curves turn number 3, and this is where we saw Terry flipping it in a spectacular style. Dane's running wide. He's got to just come off the throttle there, which is going to allow Tyler to go around the outside as they go through Starkey's Bridge. So Tyler now moves himself back up into 7th place.
Car is that Chris?
Oh, that's Boxall. So
that's Christopher with serious damage there.
We must just remember that Rolf, Colin, Sarge, Terry, Andrew and Peter Bunt in their current positions, they will be swapping. So these guys are fighting now for a place on the podium. So Dane now dropped back down into 8th place with Tyler going around the outside. And now Colin's got Rolf on his tail going into turn number 11. Down into the Melbourne hairpin. And Rolf should be able to have the advantage with that BMW. So I'm getting just a little bit of a glitching from Rolf's car, so I'm not too sure whether that was part of what had happened as Rolf now moves to the inside, approaching turn number 1. On the brakes, a little touch between Colin and Rolf.
Rolf didn't give him much space there.
So Rolf now going around the outside down turn number 2.
Yeah, I'm also picking up, he looks like he's got a bit of lag. That might be causing the issue with the touching on the other drivers and that.
So we do know that these guys do drive with the utmost respect of each other as Colin just about touches his rear. Now up into turn number 6. Oh, sorry, turn number 7. And that is McLean's. Now up into Copper's blind entry into this corner. You see, as you go up, you don't see that apex until it is very late, and you're turning in with blind faith that you are going to make that corner. Now down Starkey straight. Now they'll head into the S's. And the slowdown warning and penalties on this section are absolutely crazy.
Yeah, see, only Tyler has picked up a penalty, so good consistent driving from most of the field this evening. But looks like Rolf has now got that 6th position. That with only 3 minutes left on the clock, that means for the next race he'll be starting on pole with the reverse grid.
That is correct. So 3 minutes will give them 2 more laps. So the other person I'm just wanted to mention is in 10th place. That is creeping 799 Apple. That is Reeve, who's joined us. This is his second official SARCO event. He did join us on Sunday in the Seto Corsa, and here he is putting himself up in 10th place. So in terms of the times that he's doing, you can see just a little bit behind some of the norm there, but still able to compete and really great to see Reeve, one of our fans on Facebook, who's decided to rather come and join us, and we always welcome new drivers into the series.
Yeah, he was pretty quick on Sunday. He was driving the Lamborghini at the Zeta Corsa. Didn't have a very good first lap, but I was following him around, and man, oh man, he was really quick through the tight section. So I think it just takes a bit of time to learn a new game within a new game, and I'm sure he'll get up to speed with the rest of the field very, very soon. A good battle going on here between Dane and Tyler for 7th position. The two teammates.
Dane and Tyler?
Oh, they're teammates. No, they've got the same car.
Colin and Dane. Ooh, Tyler getting on the dirt. Oh, sorry, apologies. Dane getting that on the dirt. So Colin and Dane are the two teammates. So the car in front of Dane is Colin.
Right. Sorry, my apologies.
So we should be on the final lap. We could just jump to where Peter is. So that is him coming around the turn number 11. He'll now go into turn number 12. And interesting enough, Andrew's still 4 seconds away from him. And you can see Terry now dropping down off the pace. So he's he's at 31 seconds behind after that spectacular roll. But it looks like he might be able to bring this home still and get himself a 3rd place. Donovan did say it looks like Terry's back on his rig after that roll. Donovan, I think Terry's going to come for you.
Hilarious. So 1 lap to go, and a good race here by PDB. He fought quite well with Terry in the first couple of laps, and has managed to pull a 4-second gap over a 2nd place driver, Andrew, who has been having quite a quiet race, and we've just been really watching the action ahead of him.
Yeah, everything's definitely been happening around him, and Andrew's just kept those laps ticking over, and that's exactly what you want to do to get a result early on in the championship.
Absolutely. So final lap here for PWB, and he comes through the Melbourne hairpin for the last time to the final corner, and a very good clean race by him. Crosses the line of 1st position, and 2nd position comes Andrew. And Terry, after that quite hectic flip, has managed to...
Yeah, I think we definitely need to get him up into the commentary box after this, so that we're able to just ask him exactly what happened, because I don't think there was contact between himself and Andrew who was behind him.
No, definitely not. So a good podium finish there for Terry. And in 2nd position we've got Sarge.
So Sarge, the fastest of the Fords, he crosses the line in 4th place, which means he will be starting 3rd for the next heat. And just behind him is Racing Wolves, because we did see that he did have a little bit of pace up front there. So
he managed to pass Colin, and Colin's actually going to be starting on pole position for the next race.
100%.
That's right.
So this is now where we got to start seeing whether the guys just take it easy or whether they dive straight into it and try and maximize their score. Listen to me. Maximize their points. Just a comment coming from Villy saying, why is the Ford slower than the BMW? Villy, unfortunately, we don't really know. It's just that the BMW has a little bit more horsepower. But you'll see that in some of the tracks that we will be racing is that there might be just a little bit more advantage for the Fords. But generally, we have found that the Ford is up to about a second slower, which the guys who are essentially faster then get essentially what is a bit of a handicap.
Just please take note of your positions.
Yes,
Guys, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Actually, they won't hear you. They just got to go into the lobby, so they should be able to hear you now.
Okay, guys, I hope you...
So guys, as Ashley is giving through the details through to the drivers, a very interesting message come through from Richard. Richard, thanks so much for the message, saying, just an FYI, that Peter is a multiple 1660 Oval SA champion. He races the Oval Hot Rod Tour. He's an SSS karter as well as does long circuits, so he really is a great competitor to have. So very interesting to see the real life racers coming and cutting across into the sim world and seeing them being able to compete against the purest of the sim racers. So Daniel, very interestingly, he's now come back and saying it just all depends on the era. The Ford was behind all the other races due to the late research and development. And the reason he knows this is that he worked for Ford. So thank you, Daniel, for that insightful information. So seeing the guys are starting to get those thumbs up. I can just turn Ashley back on, so should he be with us. So I have turned the lobby off so we can't hear them, but you'll see that the guys will go into a chat party now, and that's just so that they're able to communicate with each other, getting themselves into position, because now we go into a rolling start. The guys will start straight away, take off that qualifying. The top 6, as mentioned before, will be changing a reverse grid. So that means Colin will start off in first place with Rolf in second. We'll have Ryan Edwards in third place with Terry in fourth, Andrew Ambrogioni in fifth place, and then Peter Brandt down in sixth. So we will have two Fords up front. So that's definitely going to start adding a bit of spice later on in the race. So thank you, Daniel. Veli was very thankful for the answer. And I'll know to ask you some more information later on regarding the Ford. So just about all those thumbs are up, and we will be going back. Just wanted to see, I see that we have 15 guys in the lobby, so just want to make sure that we have, there's France still clashing with me. I just hope that when we go into the lobby he doesn't take me with him. So there goes, all the thumbs are up and we should be racing. There we go. Ashley, just wanted to make sure you were able to hear me. So to the Alpha tier guys, we are currently running on time. As you can see, we are 2 minutes ahead of schedule there, which is absolutely fantastic. We have had a few learnings along the way, and I'm so glad that we're able to bring this to you on time, so that the guys will be starting at 20 minutes to 9 o'clock, which means that the Bravo tier will be ready to go. The Alpha tier, apologies, will be ready to go. So I think Ashley is still in the chat party with the drivers. He will be just giving them the information that they need to have, getting them into the positions, and they will do a rolling start and head into turn number 1 for the second heat of this round number 1 in the Bravo tier for our Vintage Touring Car Championship Season 4. So generally what the guys will do is they will pull off, they'll move over to the left hand side, and that will allow the faster drivers to overtake on the right, get themselves into position. Oh, that looked like it might have been a jump start there. So you can see them starting to move over to the left hand side of the track.
Okay, Dylan, we're just having a slight technical issue. The guys is going to retire and spectate. We're going to restart the lobby quickly. Apologies, viewers. We just had a...
What seemed to be happening there?
We've just had a bit of a glitch, so the guys is going to retire and spectate, and we're going to recreate the lobby.
Cool. We are standing by. Ready to go.
Morris, can you hear us?
Right guys, so if you have just joined us, you have just missed the start of the second heat, a bit of a technical issue with the lobby. The guys are just recreating there quickly, and we will get going very shortly. So apologies to the Alpha tier. We will be about 3 minutes behind time. So we'll start seeing the drivers coming back into the Bravo tier lobby. We are expected to do heat number 2, and as mentioned before, reverse grid there. And we'll have Colin leading us away with Rolf in second place, Sarge in third, Terry will start off in a 4th position with Andrew in 5th, and Peter run down in a 6th place. The reason being it is a reverse grid start there for heat number 2, and just a little way to start shaking up the order, making those guys work for those results. We have seen some really interesting overtakes, a little bit of bumping early on in the race. We do need to just understand that we are still very early into the season. This is the first race the guys are doing, not only in the car combination, but also on these types of cars, I should say. So I see all the thumbs are up and we should be going. There we go, the countdown has begun. So guys on the stream, let me know, what are your thoughts of this new format? Do you think it's good? What are some of the results that you're expecting to see? So as mentioned earlier, we did say we had a very interesting combination of tracks. One of the ones that I'm really looking forward to is round number 6, and that is on the 10th of October. We will be going to the Red Bull Ring with 2 heats, and honestly the first impression that we got is that the BMWs will absolutely annihilate the Fords there. The trick, however, is that it is going to be a light rain, which means that advantage and that straight line speed that the BMW essentially has will then become null and void, and will hand that advantage back to the Ford, being the better handling of the two. So 3 drivers that are missing this evening. We had Greg Campbell, who unfortunately has injured his lower back at work. We had Carl Hardeman, he's not able to join us, as well as Sebastian Troy. And then Franz Flat Rabbit, he's unfortunately had connection issues, so he's not able to join us this evening. Seeing in the background, Johan VDV stuck on the grid there. So actually, I'm not sure if you can hear me. If you just jump to Johan VDV in 12th place, he hasn't moved off the line. I'm not sure if there is a problem where you are able to chat to him. There he goes. So perhaps he quickly went for a little dash off to the gents, and perhaps got himself some water. So this is the formation lap for heat number 2. So we are about 6 minutes behind, just needing to restart this lobby, as Colin leads the field up now through Coppice. So every now and again we get that little bit of a staggering moment. Just wanted to see back down the order whether Johan VDV is joining the back of the queue there. Here he comes. So he is up and racing once again. So he does still have just a little bit of time, 2 more corners to go, but Johan now are coming through the S's as Colin now leads them through turn number 11. Then they'll make their way back up the hill. So there we saw Johan VDV at the back of the pack there. So he will not miss out of the start. Little flash of the lights that we saw on the left hand side of your screen. So now Colin, because he is leading, he will be able to give the instruction to the guys to say, we'll do essentially a count and say 3, 2, 1, go, and then we will be racing. So that sounds like we are going. Some of the guys have just caught off the line there, and that is racing Rolf, who's been able to get a great start, overtaking Colin. You can see Colin getting a little bit swamped there. Oh, little look to the inside there by Sarge. Sarge down in 6th place. So unfortunately those Fords getting absolutely swamped off the line, and I'm sure the guys in the Alpha tier will be looking out for that. But now as they sweep down the hill through Craner curves, Colin, who's now in 5th place. Remember, he started in pole position. He has Sarge chasing him down in 6th with Tyler Scott down in 7th. Morris is in 8th place. Johan VDB is in 10th with Dane in... Sorry, Johan is in 9th with Dane in 10th. That is Reeve in 11th place and Christo down in a 12th position. But back to the front and racing the Wolf being... Oh, a little look to the inside there by Peter Brandt. They're side by side. They're coming out of Coppers. Now there's going to be a drag race to the breaking point with Terry now up into 3rd. Terry having started in 4th place. A little slap of the rear there on the brakes. Terry's going to have the drive coming out of the S's, so he will move himself up into 2nd place, I'm sure, when they go into the brakes. And Peter Brandt will have to give him the space going into turn number 11. And as you can see, Terry moving to the inside. He's been able to move himself up into 1st place with Rolf not getting that braking point just right. But now Rolf is on the inside. Terry on the outside, will touch side by side by Peter Brandt going into turn number 12. And once again, that is Rolf dropping down into 2nd place. And
fantastic driving. Wow.
Thank you. I was losing my breath there.
She's a good drive there from, good start there from Terry and from, and as I say that, Rolf, and it looks like there was Andrew have come together.
No!
And Andrew comes flying onto the circuit.
I think Andrew was out of control there.
That was a bit unfortunate. But a commentator's curse there. I shouldn't have spoken. I should just let them ride. But that now puts Peter and Terry in 1st and 2nd. And Peter's just managed to open up a little bit of gap again. So lap 3, and Peter, and there's someone in the background.
There was Sarge
sprinting.
in the background there. I remember seeing those those Ford colours. You see Sarge just getting off the track, allowing the guys to go through. So that was very considerate of him. Now Johan VDV up into 5th place. Oh, someone's gonna have a little dive on the inside. Oh, great move there. That was Reeve moving himself into 5th position. A great opportunity and overtaking chance there. A little bit sketchy to say the least, but he managed to pull that off. I would never have tried to make a move there, but he was able to get through there pretty decently. So a great opportunity there and a great conversion for that place.
So he had a bit of momentum. As you know, the BMW's got a lot more power than in the Ford. So on that long back straight, he managed to overtake it. I think he just went for it, and it's probably getting used to his car now. And he seems to improve his lap time and race pace from the first race we saw. He's now all over Colin and challenging for 4th position. Would you believe it? In his first race, it was second race, should I say, for SARCO.
Also, Colin, I'd say, is a seasoned driver with us at SARCO, and definitely not looking comfortable in this little Ford now. And Reeve outbraked himself there. That's dangerous, coming on the track like that, but
and just like that, in the space of 2 corners, he's gone from 4th all the way to 10th position. So it just shows you how close this field is, and they're pretty much all bunched up. So the reverse grid is definitely showing that it's can be quite interesting in the second race.
So that means we've got Johan VDV. He's now up into 4th place with Tyler Scott down in 5th, and you can just see how close those guys are. And that is from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place with Sarge in 11th. But I think that what will happen is we'll see Rolf. That's Rolf now moving himself back up the field a little.
And I think he just touched Johan there. Johan does a perfect 360. It comes back on the track again. So there was some stylish racing right there.
We'll definitely give him some extra style points there.
Definitely.
As Reeve now comes back, moving himself up into 8th place over Johan VDV. And that is Wolf now. We'll have to just check whether there was a touch there. A little move on the inside there by Andrew on Tyler Scott. So Andrew now up into 6th.
So he's going to be pushing now after that first lap incident.
Andrew losing the rear, and that allows Tyler to move up into 6th place. So Andrew lost the position once again.
He just needs to calm down and relax a bit, because I think he's just a bit anxious now that he's falling further and further behind, and just needs to settle in. And a spectacular crash there in the background with Johan and who's that, Dane
on his roof. Oh my goodness.
Oh my word. Oh no, it looks like the two are going to try. Looks like Johan is going to try and get him back on his wheels again.
Oh, that might have worked. Almost.
No,
almost.
He's going to have to try again.
Come on, Dane, we believe in you.
Oh!
So close. There we go. There we go.
And guys, that's what you call sportsmanship. I suppose you put the guy on the roof, you know, it's only right to put him back on his wheels again. So there's Andrew again, and looks like he's made another mistake. And unfortunately that's dropped him now back into 8th position. And I'm just going back to the front of the midfield here, but a good battle between 4th, 5th and 6th position. And Morris putting pressure on Colin there, who's in 3rd position at the moment. So with all the incidents going on in the beginning of the race, he's managed to keep his nose clean. But now he's under fire from Morris in the much more powerful BMW. And let's see if he could manage to keep Morris behind him, if Colin can keep Morris behind him.
You can see Morris just losing that rear as he went up into Coppers.
Sure, that was close, but he's managed to hang on, and now he's getting a bit of a tow from the Ford in front of him. And it's just not close enough to challenge for that corner. Colin gets a good drive out of the hairpin there.
But he's gonna
it's not enough.
is going to be
Unfortunately.
absolutely eaten out going down the hill into turn number 12.
But still manages.
See, the
There was a
understeer
bit.
from that BMW.
Yeah, there was a bit naughty.
Little rub
But,
on the outside there. But I must say, I'm pretty sure that as these guys start getting used to the cars, the racing and the quality will come back from what we'd seen in the previous season. I just think the guys are just probably braking just a little bit too hard, locking up, not being able to get the cars slowed down in time. And I can only believe that the incidents that we are seeing are not on purpose.
Yeah, that's right, Dylan. I mean, the cars that we raced last season were almost a decade earlier, newer than the cars that they're riding now. The technology has changed. I mean, there's no like computers or anything that look after the brakes. No ABS, no traction control, anything like that. So the guys need some time just to get used to, changing to the different cars. And yes, they will be practicing, but this is the first time they're actually racing together.
No, that was Rolf going straight into Mario, so I think we might need to have a little chat to Rolf, because that was not on.
So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, but the guys can lodge their complaints after the race, and we can go back and review those incidents. So if we go back to the front of the field, and Peter B still leading this race for over 2-second lead over Terry. Terry looks like he has a time penalty, so he will be trying to catch, no doubt, he'll be trying to catch Peter B with only 6 minutes on the clock. He's going to have to, if he wants to win this race, he'll have to overtake him and manage to increase that gap to eliminate that penalty. And at this stage of the race, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. But nevertheless, a good drive for him so far. Second position, improvement from his first race. And just remember, he started in 4th position. So a good race from him so far.
I'm sure all those Terry fans that are out there have been waiting to see this. Terry has been struggling, to say the least, in our previous seasons, and we saw moments of brilliance in the Formula Renaults as well as in the Mercedes-Benz, but to have put himself on the podium in his first race and now getting a podium back-to-back, that is really, really cool to see.
Absolutely. I mean, it just shows the level of skill. I mean, yes, I mean, this is totally different to real racing on track. I mean, you have to sort of feel the car, with in your steering wheel. And that's the only sort of sense of connection to the vehicle, where he will be used to racing and feeling everything through the seat of his vehicle. So this is totally new and totally alien for him, but his racing instincts have proved to kick in now, and then he's definitely shown what he's actually capable of. So just go back to 3rd position. There's Rolf doing a bit of decorating with the cones on the track. Obviously didn't like the way they were standing. So he's just moved them around a bit, and he now completes his 9th lap that we're going on to now. Behind him, Colin has still managed to keep their 4th position, which means Andrew. Now I'm sure there was somebody else who was closely back with it. I think it was Marius. So I think Marius had an issue. And now he's way back into 8th position now.
And he's chasing down Sarge.
Yeah.
See that BMW making easy work of the Ford as they both go a little bit sideways, coming down towards the old hairpin. And I see that we have lost Johan VDV. So after he corrected Dane, he is unfortunately retired.
And a good view of the Ford motor there. I'm like really impressed with the detail of this game, where you can really like see all the mechanical parts, and even if the bonnet is missing, or the boot's missing, it's really cool to see how much detail they've put into this game.
So Daniel's just saying Morris must have got spun out by Rolf.
Quite possibly. But I think he had already overtaken him.
So 2 minutes 30 to go, so we're just about done with this race. Actually, I'm not sure. Wolf running a little bit wide there into turn number 1. So actually, I know that...
Sorry, Dylan, you broke up there.
You're going to be hosting the Alpha Tier. Do you need to get that lobby set up, as I'm watching Andrew coming down into the old hairpin, chasing down Colin?
Well, we've got a minute and a half left, and I am the director of this race. Unless you take over the director?
Unfortunately, I cannot do that.
No, so I mean, we've got a minute and 30 seconds, so once this race is finished, I will hop out and start creating the second lobby.
So Peter Brunt will cross the line, and this will be the final lap of this race, with Terry still in second place. And Andrew now making, looks, it seems as though Christopher, Mr. Flat Out himself, has created that lobby for you.
That's what I expected. Christopher, always thinking of others, so thank you, Christopher.
Absolute legend.
And I'm glad to see him back. I was worried that we had lost him to the PC realm. But it's good to see him back joining us this evening.
Even Brandon DeSantos has said the lobby is done. So thank you guys, the Alpha Tier. So Ruben Arujo, he's joined us saying, hello everyone. Ruben, welcome, welcome, welcome. Christopher's watching a Flat Out Bud. So thank you very much, Christopher. We will be with you in approximately the next 2.5 minutes. So it seems like our top 3 for the evening will be Peter, Andrew, well Peter, Terry, then Andrew in terms of the point score this evening. So we'll get the 3 of them in the commentary box. So I don't know, Ashley, if we can just put that up on the Discord.
Shall we get Rolf as well? He did finish 3rd in this race. So maybe just get the...
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, cool. I'll let the guys know.
So you're currently looking at the race winner, back-to-back wins for Peter Brandt. Terry Wolford, 2 podiums for him, a 3rd place and a 2nd place here in the second heat, with Racing Wolf up into a 3rd place, with Andrew Ambrogioni in 4th, Colin in a 5th place. And then we have in shot, a little move to the inside by Marius, by Marius, managing to go through the inside there, a little kick of the rear, and they're going to be a drag race across the line. It looked like that Reeve managed to get that place in the end there. Yes, he did, even though Marius did have a time penalty with Sarge in the background. They're finishing in 8th, with Tyler in 9th, Dane in 10th place, with Christo in 11th position. So tomorrow we will be able to get the points together, and we will be able to release the drivers who will be taking the Ford for the next round. Knowing that the next round we will be racing will be next week Monday, the 7th of the 9th at Hockenheim and National. I'm just going to make sure we do get all the final results up on the stream, and now we have them.
Shame. Shame, shame.
I'm flashing with Quicksilver.
Steve, don't you want to just go in and out?
Okay, I'll just leave quickly.
It's just Steven, and Dylan and Dirkie, and Steven and Dirkie. Dylan, are you broadcaster, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Director. Okay. I'll send him an invite. I think I've got him. Yeah, I have. That's what she said. Are we live? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Nou, vat
Now we're just waiting for Pete. Who? Who was it? Scott. I'll send him an invite. There we go.
Okay.
How's it, guys?
How's it?
Okay, just let me know when we can start. Okay. Can everyone please get their thumbs up? Let's go.
So welcome to the post-race, I'd say, interviews for the Bravo tier. With me on the screen, I've got Terry and Andrew. We're just waiting to get Peter Brunt in. But Andrew, let's start off with you. A podium for you in the first race, and a little bit of an interesting incident going into turn number 1. A little touch there between yourself and Rolf, and the two of you went farming.
Yeah, again, just thanks for everybody. It was a good race, and well done, Terry, and I think it's Pierre, number 47. Yeah, good racing. But yeah, the second race, I don't know what happened with Rolf. I really thought we were side by side, and somehow next, he got pushed over to the side, and I don't know what happened there. So, but I'd like to apologize to, I think it was Tyler. Tyler was the one that I bumped a couple of times, and I just couldn't stay away from him. I mean, I don't know what happened. I have to send the guy some flowers.
So Tyler, I hope you are watching. Andrew will definitely stand up to his word. He will send you those flowers. And then Terry, 2 podiums for you. An absolute crazy race. We don't really know what happened, but take us through that roll. You're literally going down Craner curves. The next thing, the car steps out, and then up and over you went.
Yeah. Firstly, did it with Andrea. Let me rather play this safe. So I'd like to thank my sponsors. So I got a crack of a lap to put on pole, our first pole, and I sort of pulled a bit of a lead, and then I saw the guy start reeling me in, and I was trying to pick up pace, and I couldn't just get the car to work, man. And next minute, I think I went down through the bottom into that fast flying right-hander, left-hander.
Yep.
And I stuck it over onto its roof a couple of times. Got it straight up again, and I saw that I still had a bit of a gap to whoever was behind, and it was just a case of nurse it to get home. Finish on the podium first race, and second race, we had a good race with Peter and I'm not sure it was Rolf, Racing Rolf. And we swapped positions a couple of times, and next minute I pulled first gear, it set me over the pavement, and I got an 18-second penalty, so sort of put paid to the race. So it wasn't even worth trying to. I mean, Peter Brandt he was faultless this race,
100%.
Unbelievable, and I wasn't going to catch him. So you know what? It's make sure that I had a good gap to Colin, and that was it. So it starts off as a good season for us, you know.
No, 100%. Look, it's really great to see you challenging up in the front there. But I just remember for the next race, guys, you're both in the Fords. So jump in those Fords, get that practice in for your next race, and I'm sure that the results are going to be mixed up once again.
So we're in the Fords next week?
Yes, you are.
So that's all I've ever known in my racing is a Ford. So bring it on.
Bring it on. Awesome.
That's all I've ever owned.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we don't have Rule for Peter with us, but we see that the guys are halfway through their qualifying in the Alpha tier. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon.
Well done, Terry.
Cool. Dylan. Thanks. Well done, Andrew. Thanks, Dylan, to you guys. And, if anybody wants to join them, let's get in touch with you, Dylan. Come and race with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Okay.
Cheers.
Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. Terry.
Ciao, bud. Ciao.
So there you have it. Some really interesting results happening there. Just wanted to check. Tyler? I believe, Tyler, are you commentating or are you with us? So we do have 16 drivers in the lobby this evening. We can just run down the order. So there's Stephen up at the top there. That's Ashley. We have Robert Stoltz, the Horn Dog, Dirkie, Maljacques, that's Alex, Marius, Gerard, Brandon DeSantos, Theo, Marshall, Jakes, Dr. Fishy, who's joined us from Germany. We have Sly Pete and then Christopher. So as they start crossing the line, you can see Gerard going quickest on a 43. Just get this a little bit bigger so we can see the timing. So now I can see the timings clearly. So Gerard is currently fastest 143.1, Alex 143.4, then Dr. Fishy is, as we know, but his real name is Alessio, 143.5, Maljacques 143.6, then 143.9, 144.0. So the first 6 places are separated by less than a second. And all those guys up at the top are currently in the BMWs. The Fords will be lower down. The Ford drivers are Christopher, Jakes, Brandon, the Horde Dog, and Morris, and those are the 12 that we're seeing down at the bottom. But I'm pretty sure that we'll start seeing some faster times coming through.
How you, Dylan?
Tyler, thank you so much for joining me up in the commentary box. I hope you are well this evening. Some interesting racing there in your Bravo tier.
Yeah, not too bad. Bit difficult with the Fords and the BMWs. Fords just don't have the power of those BMs.
Yeah, we've actually just seen Jakes retire into the pit, so he is down in 13th place. Brandon Santos, big power slide there for Brandon going into turn number 11. So that will be the end of his session as well. And out in front is Alex, a 42.4. So that is really quick for him. I just want to see where some of those Fords are. There's Christopher in 8th position, so he is currently the fastest of the Fords. There goes Dirkie, a 141.8. That is extremely quick. So it doesn't look like Morris was able to get a lap in. You can see that he doesn't have a time posted. So I'm not sure whether he was just trying to push a little bit too hard. So that is the starting lineup. So it is Dirkie, Alex, Maljak, Alessio, Theo, Stephen, Gerard, Marshall, Christopher, Sly Pete is your top 10. So we could just jump down to about 6th place for us there, please, Tyler, and we will be able to just see a little bit more of that middle pack coming through into the first couple of corners. So some more interesting facts coming through from Daniel War Machine Morales. He's saying another interesting fact was due to the delay in the reshoot was the development in the Ford Escort was because Ford had just won the Le Mans and in the GT, the Ford GT, and that's where we're putting all their focus. So that is actually pretty interesting. So thank you for that. So that was the sync that we have been waiting for. This green light, and we're racing here at the Alpha tier. Round number 1 here at Donington Park GP. 16 drivers here in the Alpha tier as we watch them going to turn number 1. A little bit of someone going wide there. You can see dropping down the order. Don't know who that is just yet, but I'm sure we will figure that out a little bit sooner than later. Theo locking up those fronts, going down into the old hairpin.
Dylan, it looks like it was Dr. Fishy. Dropped all the way down.
Oh, there we go. Well spotted. So yeah, he's now down into a 15th place. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. And remember, these guys will have the same format as the Bravo tier, where the top 6 will run a reverse grid. Christopher currently in 8th place. He is the fastest of the Fords. And then right behind him is the Horn Dog, followed by Marius, then Jakes, Ashley, Robert Stoltz, then Brandon, the 5th of the 4 drivers. Will take in those bollards with him. Looked like Christopher was going to have a little bit of an off going through the S's, but just a little bit of lag. And a BMW in the background. I think that's Ashley having a move onto the inside of Jakes. So it was Jakes that was able to hold off that attack. So we have Shane Sampson, who's joined us on the stream, as Christopher gets a really good drive coming up the corner. He tucks himself right behind Gerard in 8th position. But out in front is Dirkie. And we did mention this to Durkee in the race on Thursday night, that Durkee is our previous champion in the Ford, apologies, in the BMW 76 2002 Stance Works. So he is very familiar with this car. But just remember that this championship will definitely mix things up, because the top 5 drivers out of this race, Heat 1 and 2, will be in the Ford for the next round. Oh, Marshall getting that very, very wrong, coming into the top corner there at McLean's. But now he should be able to rejoin safely. The horn dog has gone past him, as well as that was Marius and Christopher. So Christopher now up into 7th. Marius is up into 8th. So Marius, starting all the way down in 16th place, has had an absolute blinder. He's got himself up 8 places in a matter of 2 laps. So really good driving there for him. So a side by side, Theo realizing that he might go a little bit too deep, but that's allowed him to get right on the inside of Alex. But now Alex will have the inside going into turn number 12. So see Theo just allowing Alex to go through. Alex looks like he might be a little bit wide. Theo tightens up, just about taking that front nose with him. It's in the background there. Christopher really fighting to keep up with these BMWs ahead of him. So they'll now go down turn number 3 now through Craner Curves. This is where we saw Terry losing the rear and flipping the car by himself. A very interesting maneuver there. Theo able to close that gap up on the rear of Alex. And now what's happening is that with these 3 guys fighting in front, they're allowing Durkee to extend his lead. Just watching Christopher in the background there, starting to close up on the back of Gerard. He's not allowing him to get away. So there is a slight beat in 5th place with Gerard in 6th and Christopher, I'd say, right behind him, but starting to just lose a little bit of momentum coming down Sarcos straight. But then coming into the S's, Christopher's able to close back down on him. Now Theo, he's now been able to get himself into 2nd place, and Jacques has gone ahead of Alex. So some position changes there, which we unfortunately missed, having gone back down. So look at the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. So I see Morris is dropping down. He's now down into 13th place. Now down into 14th. And there goes the horn dog. He's now also dropped a position down into 10th. So 15 minutes still left, and the racing action has been absolutely crazy. Some messages coming through. Craig Thompson saying, "Go Ash," and a comment there from Ashley saying that Marius may have just missed the start there, which is why he was possibly not able to get a time in. So just jumping on the Facebook. Sorry guys, I was falling just a little bit behind there. I see Albert Fencer, he's now joined us to say that Peter Brandt also won the V8 Sprint Oval for MSA Champion, and he took the Rookie of the Year a couple of years back. Oh, Jake's fighting really hard with Marius. And unfortunately they are down in let's say 15th and 16th respectively.
Yeah, Dylan, it sounds like there was a bit of bumping in that between the Fords and the Bears. So it seems Marius, Jakes, and I'm not sure who the other drivers were that got involved in that incident, but it seems they came off second best.
Yeah, so that's not always good to hear, but Tyler, thank you so much for that inside information. I'm assuming that you're in their chat party.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen there and listen, yeah.
100%, thank you so much. So, Billy's saying, awesome stream, thank you so much for streaming. This is exactly why we do it. Thank you so much, guys. Reeve, I see he's also jumped onto the Facebook page saying these cars are very unstable on the curbs. We see a car, another car sliding down. That's Theo on his side. So Theo trying to get that car flipped over, which is now freed up Alex in the front. Alex in second place, Gerard in third place, and then in fourth is Christopher in the Ford with Sly Pete in fifth and Maljacques in seventh place. Ashley now up into sixth. We then have Robert in eighth with Stephen ninth. The Honda dropping down, Marshall being able to get ahead of him. Then Dr. Fisher Alessio in 12th place with Brandon 13th, Jakes 14th, and Marius in 15th place.
Dylan, if you got a second there, just check your WhatsApp.
Oh, that was from earlier. Oh yes, go for it, let's do it. So now the battle of Ford versus BMW with Sly Pete now challenging Christopher. So Sly Pete's having qualified for the series, whereas on the Thursday night he was able to get an automatic qualification. We could just see how quick that BMW is compared to the Ford. But now coming on the brakes, we should be able to see Christopher just pulling that gap ever so slightly. The Ford a lot more stable through the section. But as the BMW it gets that power back once again, the BMW just closes up. See Christopher using that rear to turn that car, getting himself a bit of a slide before hitting that apex. So we are watching Stephen being chased down by Robert, the brother-in-law to Tyler, who's in the commentary box with us. Robert's, this is his second season and managed to qualify himself in the Alpha tier. So a really, really great effort there for him. And Tyler just missing out getting himself into this tier. We are 9 minutes left to go here in the first race, and Theo has unfortunately retired. You can see down to 16 drivers, 15 drivers, apologies, from 16. So Christopher still fighting hard with Sly Pete chasing him down. And Christopher in a fourth place, really getting the most out of this little Ford. Just looking further down the field, Jakes and Amarius also in the Ford, starting to move themselves up in the field. The Horn Dog, he's now unfortunately dropping down into 14th place, and Alessio down in 15th. But this is now Ashley getting lots of pressure from Stephen. And just behind them, that is Marshall. So I'm sure that with these two guys fighting it out, is that they might start just slowing each other down and allowing a Marshall to close up on the back of them. Just coming out the back of the S's, we saw Jakes in the Ford. So just under 8 minutes to go, and we can start seeing some of the drivers getting time penalties. So it is Dirkie, Alex, Marshall, Jakes and Andrew Horn all got time penalties with those red blocks next to their names. So Morris and Jakes having an absolute fantastic battle here between the two of them. And even though they are down 11th and 12th respectively, it does not stop them from fighting each other. So Craig's been saying that it looks like lots of fun to drive and he's jealous. Unfortunately, Craig, yeah man, we would have loved to have you, but we know that Mondays are not always the easiest nights for you.
Let me go there.
Donna, I hear you loud and clear.
Andre, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Andre,
Dylan,
welcome.
Andre.
Well, thanks, man.
So let's just help
Yes,
you out
Andre,
here,
we
just
know
so you can
that.
see. There we go. Now, Andre, you can see what we're seeing.
Count. It's going in now. See?
So Tyler, do you
Okay,
just
cool.
want to give Andre a bit of an introduction, just so we can let the guys who are watching know who he is?
Yeah, I met Andre Danhauser through racing with Super Hatch. He's been building a new project car for the last year. He can tell you more about that. Should be racing at the next race at SARCO. We hope to see it there. Let him tell you more about that. Andre.
Hey, hi, how you, Tyler? Yeah, thanks for the invite. Yeah, like you said, we are busy with a project. We're currently busy with 1975 Toyota Corolla SR5 Coupe. Basically, almost there with it. And yeah, first race on that one is going to be on the 19th. We're going to be racing at Red Star Raceway out in Delmar. So yeah, it's quite a bit scary, you know, first time out on the track with this car, you know, kind of feel very sorry for the thing with all the effort you put into it and knowing how scarce everything is.
Yep.
But we're going to race it.
No, 100%. So, Andre, what do you think about the little series that we've got going on here, the little Ford Escorts versus the BMW, the 76?
I must say, it's actually quite interesting that you guys have got two very different cars, especially in terms of the power delivery. I think what would have been really nice is if you actually had the Escorts having a little bit more of an upper hand with the handling. But I think this track over here sort of would have cancelled that out anyway. I think if you run this at some tracks that are a little bit tighter, but still with fairly long straights, should be very, very interesting.
Yeah, so we did think that the second phase of this track would have brought that advantage back to the Fords, but it just seems like it's not quite there. Looking at Christopher, who's currently in 4th place, he's the fastest of the Fords, and you can see that he's just off the pace. As we jump back down to him, we can see starting to get lots of pressure from Mole Jacques as they now come down Starkey straight towards the S's. We should see Jacques moved to the inside. No, so he does stay there. And right behind Mal Jacques, we've got Sly Pete. And you can see Christopher getting a much better control going through the S's, so he has relieved that pressure just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's actually brilliant to see the way he went through those S's, you know, just concentrating on the exit. Good stuff.
So now Christopher defending his line with Sly Pete, now being able to get himself around Mal Jacques through turn number 11. So now Christopher is going to have everything to fight for. But now with Sly Pete getting the straight line speed, looks like Christopher will stay on the inside, trying to force Pete around the outside, so Christopher rather decides to go wide. So Pete might go a bit too deep, but he's managed to make that move stick. And now he's going to have a Mal Jacques right behind him, coming down down, what the flip? This is turn number 2, the main 92 crater curves, now through the old hairpin. And Christopher not able to close up on Sly Pete. So that, have you guys raced any other cars before this one?
Well, I've been racing in Super Hatch along with Tyler. I race a little Corsa B sponsored by Pro Autoroba, and they also be sponsoring the Toyota. Obviously, it was actually their idea to get into the historic racing because it's more their market. And you know, it's not that these oaks only specialize in the older cars. I mean, you can buy rubbers from them for any car basically, and they've got some fantastic other products as well. So it's not just about cars with them. So yeah, very lucky to have had them on board now for it's like 5 years now, and yeah, we're just going from strength to strength.
So Todd, I think we're just getting a little bit of feedback from you.
Robert and Ashley.
Well, Ashley are locking up
Over
into the last corner. I'm getting a little bit of feedback coming from your sound there.
From my side.
That is correct. Now it seems to have been corrected. Thank you so much. It is still there.
Thank
So Ashley now leading this three-way horse. We're down. Whoa, big sideways action there for Ashley coming through the old hairpin. But now it will be a race back up the Starkey's Bridge. So that is Robert, followed by Marshall. Now we'll go up into turn 7 McKean's. Ashley nice and tight there. Looked like Robert went a little bit wide. I'm sure he's going to have Marshall right up behind him, and there he does. Gijo's Gaming, thanks so much. I am seeing that it is coming back through on Tyler.
Is that better perhaps, Odonis?
So that is Dirkie. He now crosses the line in first place. Unfortunately, Tyler, that sound is still coming through. Followed by Alex in second place, with Gerard in third, Pete in fourth. And it looks like because of that time penalty that Christopher had in sixth, he will drop down with Jamal Jacques in fifth, then Robert seventh. Sorry, Ashley 7th, Robert 8th, Marshall 9th, Stephen 10th, Jake's 11th, Dr. Fishy, who's Alessio in 12th. That is the Horn Dog in 13th, and Brandon down in 14th place, and Marius unfortunately disconnecting. So Georgia, I promise you, I do not have the mainstream coming through. So I'm just going to try something quickly. There we go. So once I mute Tyler's microphone, then the repeat does go away. So Tyler, I don't know if you are able to get the sound coming out on your side through a headset. That would definitely help just some of the feedback that's coming through.
Yeah, Dylan, is it better now?
So let's just run through the top 10 quickly. No, it's still there, Tyler. So it is, let's turn that off, Durkee in first place with Alex, then Gerard, Pete, Maljacques, Christopher, Ashley, then Robert, Marshall, and Stephen are your top 10. With 11th is Dr. Fishy, then Jakes, the Horn Dog, Brandon, Morris retiring, and Theo retiring.
Listen, Dr. Fishy, you must just understand. When someone's on that defensive line, you can't
So definitely we are seeing that the BMWs are just about killing those Fords. And Tyler, yeah, that feedback is still coming through on your side, so I have just muted you. Apologies. But then, Andre, do you do any sim racing at all?
No, not at all. I've actually never tried it. I don't have a rig either, but yes, like I've always been pretty terrible at computer games, eh?
You talk about computer games, you might insult some people.
Oh yeah, no. Like I say, I mean, the only sort of racing sort of sims I've ever tried was a little bit of GT and yeah, but like I say, I'm pretty terrible at it.
Oh, the best thing to do is just give it a go, and you never know, eh?
Yeah, one day I'll hijack Tyler's rig or something of the sort and give it a go proper.
Phone's broken.
So guys, unfortunately, we are just batting to get Tyler's feedback. For some reason it is coming through. Every time I'm speaking, we are hearing him on his side. We do see that the guys are starting to get the thumbs up, and as we had in the previous tier, is that the top 6 will do a reverse grid, which once again will mix up the field and definitely give us a lot of very interesting racing. So to the Alpha tier lobby, if you're able to hear me, just let me know when you're ready. We are good to go from our side. So Tyler?
Dylan.
Yes, it does seem like it is much better.
No, but this is through my PlayStation. Not through Discord.
Okay, but then at least we're not getting the feedback, so that is good. Because you're still coming through clearly on my side.
Kaden, please bring me others. These don't have a microphone.
So we're just waiting for the rest of the guys to get those thumbs up. It's just 3 drivers waiting there, and we'll be able to get into the second heat of the Alpha tier here in our Vintage Touring Car Championship. This is round number 1 here at the Donington Park GP circuit. There we go. The countdown is complete. We are now heading back to the track.
Dylan, you still getting that feedback?
It doesn't sound like we are, Tyler, so thank you very much for that. But to the guys on the stream, let us know if you are hearing that feedback, but it does look like on my side when I'm speaking, I don't see the little green indicator jumping on Tyler's little voice there, so it should all be sorted. Thank you very much for your patience there, guys.
So Dylan, I'm right to say this is reverse grid for the top 5 or top 6?
The top 6 will be reverse grid.
Andre, how do you feel about reverse grids? What do you think it does for racing?
I think it is actually not a bad thing. You know, you're always going to have a guy complaining about it, especially if he's done well in the previous race. But I think for spectator value, it's definitely worth it to do it in our racing, and definitely mixes things up quite nicely.
And I think what definitely mixes things up here is you've got not only reverse grid, but now you're changing the positioning of the cars. So we know that Christopher finished in 4th place. So that now puts him into 3rd. So that's going to be a very interesting one for him.
Yeah, I think Christopher, if he can get away in the beginning, he might make that work for him.
So guys are just doing their formation lap. Once they get back to the start-finish line, the race leader will sign them off. Well, that is Christopher. Sorry, I did get that wrong. Christopher finished off in the 6th place. He was passed in those last couple of laps. So Christopher will be leading the guys away with Maljacques in 2nd, then Sly Pete, Gerard, Alex, then Durkee. Remember Durkee winning that race, he now puts himself down in 6th. So we've got the 6 top guys from the Heat 1 now, reverse grid. That definitely is going to mix things up. So Christopher putting himself back into where we saw him in the previous season. Not used to seeing him so far down in the order. But nevertheless, we have 20 minutes left of this second heat. And I'm really looking forward to this one. The guys will just come through turn number 11. They'll now head to turn number 12, and from there Christopher will give them the go as they cross the line, and we will be racing heat number 2. So side by side into turn number 1. and the BMWs are not being able to get the jump on Christopher as they now go through turn number 2. But this is where the BMWs are going to be putting a lot of pressure, so the guys might just need to come off the power as we see a little a loss of the rear there by Jacques as they head single file into the old hairpin. And you could just see Gerard now getting that drive over Christopher going through Starkey Straight. The Ford not having the power needed to keep the BMW at bay. And Gerard is now our new race leader. Now down.
Well, I'm not sure what it is. You seem to be breaking up a lot.
It might be the stream that I've now put up onto Discord. But you can see the single file now coming through. Gerard starting to pull himself a little bit of gap over Christopher in second place with Sly Pete in third. So the race leader, Christopher getting it very sideways coming out of turn number 12. And he is closely followed by Pete, then Gerard. By Pete, Dirkie, then Ashley, who's moved himself up the order. Christopher now dropping down some places. So Talib getting that feedback again. So we jump to Morris down in 14th position. So Morris trying to get a move on Jakes, who's just in front of you. Jakes trying to close that gap on Marshall, but not able to find a way around him just yet. You can see how closely contested it is there in the middle between 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place. Morris and Jakes both sliding that Ford going through turn number 7. Now we'll go up into turn 8. That's Coppice. Very tricky corner here. You've got 3 phases to the corner and it just tightens up. And then once again it opens up onto the Starkey Straight. Very congested into the braking zone through the SS side by side there for Alex and Robert. But Robert able to get himself ahead there, so no problems. Now into the heavy braking zone. Down the hill, turn number 11. Little tag between Roberts and Alex there. And Dr. Fishy in 8th place, starting to move himself up the order. Ahead of him, he does have Stephen. So Gerard crosses the line with Pete in 2nd place. Then it is Dirkie, Christopher, Ashley, Mal, then Stephen. Christopher going a little bit wide, and that's allowed Ashley to go through, and it looks like that Mal-Jacques will be able to get through. No, Christopher holds that inside line going through Craner, but now he'll get a little bit of advantage going through the old hairpin. But this is where that BMW now through Starkey's Bridge will start closing up that gap. You can see 3 BMWs closing up on Christopher, but Christopher holds that inside line, flicks that forward through turn number 7. John might have a look to the inside here. Yes, you can see just sneaking up on the inside through turn number 8. But Mal-Jacques just a little bit hesitant. And you can see how he's just bunching up all those cars behind him.
Oh!
It cuts just missing another Ford. So there was just so much chaos happening there. Did not see who that was, but definitely 2 cars touching. But I think that's what happens when you start getting 4 cars wide on the main straight. Guys just looking for their positions. But Christopher up into 5th place now will get Dr. Fishy looking on the inside, but Alessio not able to convert that as Christopher slides that forward through turn number 12. Alessio moving to the inside, Christopher deciding to go a much wider route. Marshall trying to find himself a way around Christopher. So a very long single file down the hill. So Tyler, we can just drop back down to 8th place there, please. Because there's the two Fords. They are very close together. That's Marius and Jakes. Oh, a little look to the inside. Well, that is now Christopher being swamped now, and you'll see the 3 Fords together. So it'll be Christopher, Marius, and Jakes running wide, coming up through turn number 8. So that's going to allow not only Robert to go through, but as well as the Horn Dog, who didn't have a really good first heat. So Robert now moves ahead of the Horn Dog going through the S's. And Stephen now will get a drive on Jakes now, coming down the hill towards turn number 11. So up front, the battle between for the 2nd and 3rd place is Gerard pulling away between Sly Pete and Dirkie. So just under 10 minutes to go here in the 2nd heat of the Alpha Tier. Christopher getting that very sideways. Just behind him is Marius as they just about touch. So just behind Marius, that is Maljacques, followed by Jakes, then Stephen. Robert starting to drop down the order. That allows the Horn Dog to go up, and Christopher loses the rear. Oh, puts it up against the barrier, and that's not something that we see very often. So Christopher, our previous Monday Night League champion, has now dropped down into 11th position. So Marius defending that inside line through the S's over Maljacques. So Jacques will not have a very good exit coming out of the S's, which might allow Jakes to get a run on him. But now the BMW will just start pulling a gap over him. They now go into turn number 11. So Marius now sliding that Ford all over the place with Maljacques behind him, and then Jakes behind Maljacques. So now you can see the BMW getting the advantage and overtaking Marius on the main straight. So Tyler, what do you think about the racing so far?
Dylan?
Yes, Tyler.
Sorry, it seems since you started the live stream on our side, we're getting feedback. You there, Dylan?
Yep, so then, sorry Andrea, unfortunately I'm going to have to cut this off. But now I'm not getting that feedback now, so it does seem like it's all good.
Okay. Sorry, what was that you asked?
What do you think about the racing so far?
Racing's been good. It's unfortunately for folder, Christopher. But as you know, he's either flat out or out.
There we go.
So, and Andre, knowing you haven't raced this type of racing, what do you think of the racing that's going on here?
Well, it's definitely excellent to watch. Like us, to me, it's very interesting to see, how the Oaks are handling the deficit they got with the escorts at this stage. With not having the straight line speed, but it looks like they're getting it right on the exits most of the time. So that does help them a lot. Eh?
Is it something similar to your Corsa?
Very much so. My Corsa, the only thing you can do is concentrate on the exit because it's never really had much straight line speed.
So it'll battle all the forwards here down in 12th and 13th place between the Horde Dog and Brandon De Santos. The two of them being automatically promoted to the Alpha tier after having finished Andrew winning the championship and Brandon De Santos just edging out Andrew and Brogioni, who we saw him earlier on in the Bravo tier. So these two now having to start in the Ford, and I'm sure they'll be very happy to get themselves in the BMW for the next race.
Yeah, Brandon did very well in the series with the BMs versus the Mercedes versus the Ford, so I'm sure you'll be very happy to be back in the BM.
Yep, most definitely. So guys, we have that is 5 minutes left of this race, so just about 4 laps. And our race leader, Gerald, almost gets it all but wrong there. You can see how that rear just stepped out on him as he got into the brakes. Durkee in second place, being able to get himself around Sly Pete, who's now in third place. Ashley up into fourth with Dr. Fishy, Alessio in fifth place. But those two having an almighty battle, so there might be a position changed yet to come. We had Dr. Fishy racing with us on Saturday evening. I must say he really is a great driver as Ashley goes very wide. That's going to allow Alessio to go around the outside, but a little touch between Alessio and Ashley there. It looks like Alessio has been able to get going once again. There you can see him in the background. So that now promotes Marshall up into fifth place. And Morris in 8th position. I'm sure he'll be happy with that result. So a great consistent drive there for Marshall, who's in 5th now, being able to get himself ahead of Alessio after that touch between himself and Ashley going through Starkeys. Then Christopher down in 11th position in the Ford, and you can see the Ford in the background. That is Andrew Horn. So Morris, the quickest of the 4 drivers now in heat number 2.
I can tell you something. To do a 145.5 in these Fords is something unreal.
So I must say I didn't do much time in them. I was focusing my efforts on the BMW. I did manage to get myself into the 142s, but definitely for the next race I will get myself into the Ford just so I can just compare the two for myself when we go to Hockenheim. You see Morris flicking that rear out, going through the old hairpin. But that is very much Morris' style. He likes to get that rear very loose and just power through that slide. So Carrot now coming through turn number 12, and he'll cross the line and begin his final lap here of this race. See, 1 minute 36, so there's no ways we'll be able to get around in that time. So Morris has got Stephen right on his tail, and I'm sure that Morris is going to want to just fend off Stephen. Will Stephen have a look to the inside? Morris decides to go very wide, and that allows Stephen to go through the inside there. Now Stephen will just have to keep it together, and now coming down the hill. We did see Terry get very, very interestingly losing that rear, putting himself up and over all by himself. Morris sliding that car through the old hairpin. Alessio is starting to get some pressure from Mal Jacques. Alessio now in 6th place, with Jacques fighting down in 7th place. So this is still for a position coming to the end of this race. 17 seconds left. So Gerard will come around the turn 12 for the last time, and he will cross the line and take a victory here. Followed by, oh my goodness, Tyler, I don't know if you saw that, but when Gerard crossed the line, you actually see that he dropped down. And that's because of the time penalty that he had received. So Gerard, even though he won the race, he finishes in 2nd place with Sly Pete in 3rd. A great result there for him. And Ashley in 4th, Marshall in 5th, Dr. Fishy just being able to keep Jacques at bay there. Jacques finishing in 7th, with Stephen in 8th, Morris down in 9th, then Jakes in 10th, Christopher 11th, the Horn Dog in 12th place, with Robert in 13th, Brandon in 14th, and Alex down in 15th position. So there Robert crosses the line.
Yeah, looks like Alex has been through the walls with that car.
He definitely does.
I'm sure he's glad that race is over.
And there are times where that happens, and unfortunately all you got to do is just get your head down, get the car across the line, and just regroup for the next one. Ooh. Just wasn't able to get in the final results there, but we will have them on the stream.
Yeah, so I missed that.
So to the guys in the lobby, if we can just have a Dirkie, Gerard and Sly Pete up in our Discord, please.
Yeah, Andre, thanks for coming to chat with us. Hope you had a good time watching some of the racing. Hope to see you watching more of it. And sure you'll be on, we'll get you to chat again.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I really enjoyed it. Loved watching some of the action there. Really good.
Yeah.
Awesome, Andre.
Remember, go on to SARCO and go on to the Facebook. Follow this page.
Oh, and if your rig goes missing, it wasn't me, huh?
Okay. I know where you live. Cheers.
To the guys in the Discord, if you're just able to just turn off your live streams, please, just so we don't get that feedback. There we go, guys. The first round of our vintage touring car done and dusted. And our top scorers for this evening. Let's start there with you, Sly Pete. Your taste of the Alpha tier, round number 1, and then you find yourself on the podium.
Yeah, that was crazy stuff. Look, we were a lot quicker than the Fords. I'm sweating, man. Trying to get past Christopher, even though he's in the Ford, is something else. He makes that thing wide.
Most definitely.
So, yeah, both races I had a nice tussle with him. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, so we definitely did see that the speed differential was quite large, specifically here at this track. But we do think that advantage might be cut down just a little bit when we go to Hockenheim. Let's go to you, Gerard. You did always say that we'll get you up in the commentary box when you win a race. So technically, we shouldn't actually have you here. You won that race, but we'll end up giving that Dirkie that place due to your time penalty. But 2 podiums for you as well. Great effort.
Yeah, no, that went quite well. Yeah, when I got that 2 seconds, I know it's gone. Because I was checking that time, just don't match up there. So 2 seconds. And
I just let him go because I saw he was way quick.
No, it really was a great effort there, and I'm sure that when you went into the first corner, saw the little touch there, and all of a sudden the first place was yours, and then you had a pretty decent clear race for the rest of it. Then let's go to you, Dirkie. So 2 wins for you, and we did say to you that you are the most experienced, considering you are a champion in this car, and here you go proving it. But now you're going to have to get your head around what to do with the Ford for the next race.
Yes. I'm in big trouble with the Ford in the next race because it's got the long straight and a back straight and an uphill and everything that doesn't work for the Escort. But it's my turn. I have to take it. I think a lot of us is going to have a turn in the Escort. And, yeah, well, I'm just going to have to make the best of it. But tonight's race was something else.
Yeah, it does seem like the guys are really, really like enjoying the car. It's like such a physical challenge, and that's exactly what we wanted, right?
Yeah. Look, the first race was easy for me because I could get away and I could just manage the space between me and Alex, and it wasn't too bad. But the second race with the reverse grid was something else, man. And I was so careful not to bump the car coming through the pack, and it wasn't that easy. I even got stuck behind Pete there, so and I lost a lot of ground. And I was watching Gerard going further and further away, and I started overdriving the car, and then I relaxed a bit and got some better pace on the vehicle. And but by the time I got past Pete, I think that I could only get time on Gerard in turn 1. The rest we were like even. I can get 1/10 in the one corner, and the next corner I lose it again. So we were so even in that second race, and all of a sudden I saw Gerard having a 2-second penalty. I was about 3-point-something seconds behind him on that point of time, and then I got my fastest laps for the race on that last 3 laps, because then I pushed a little bit harder to get into that 2-second bracket, and luckily I could manage to do that.
No, 100%. It really was an incredible drive. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you really much for putting on a great show. And we're looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in the Fords, and just feel a little bit of what Andrew, Christopher, Jakes, Marius, and Brandon felt like today.
Yeah, and I know exactly what I can do in the Ford. Other than that, nothing.
Oh, man. Guys, thank you so much. Really
Cool,
appreciate it.
thanks,
We're looking
guys.
forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thanks. It's
Ciao,
awesome.
Good race.
Awesome
Well
formula
done.
that you've got together. Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting right to the end. So I can't wait to see how this unfolds to the end.
No,
Thanks a lot for that.
100%. Dirkie, thank you so much, man.
Cool.
Cheers,
Cheers.
guys. So then, Tyler, thank you very much for joining me and assisting with the directing. Once again, thank you very much. And being able to get Andre to come and join us and just to tell us just a little bit of what it is that he is involved in. It's always nice to get some real races, seeing what it is that we're actually doing, because it does definitely just change some of their perceptions. And guys, if you're on the stream, thank you so much for joining. And if you haven't subscribed already and you feel like it, just hit that notification button if you're on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, just like our page on Facebook, and you will be notified when we go live. We will be live again on Thursday when we do round 2 of our Porsche GT3 and GT4 Cup. So look forward to that. And just remember that this series is proudly sponsored by Thrustmaster, who is the SARCO brand of choice. I use my own Thrustmaster wheels. I know a lot of the guys would use the G29s, but sometimes it does come down to personal preference. I'm Thrustmaster all the way. So Tyler, any last words from you? We'll take that as a no. So guys, thank you very much. We'll see you on Thursday. So until then, keep racing, and thanks for watching.